Life sometimes flows like a river, and other times it circles around a stone. That morning started just like any other. I was on my way to Home Depot, but when my tire went flat, I had to return home. Now, as I think about it, that tire hadn't gone flat. I might have continued living completely unaware of everything, but fate had other plans. When I got back home, I heard Dora secretly talking on the phone. "There won't be any problems with him, don't worry," was saying. Those words echoed in my mind. At that moment, when my keys clattered onto the counter, Dora abruptly ended the conversation. Realizing the suspicion in my eyes, she turned to me in a flustered manner and said, "Hi, honey, you came back so quickly." However, the smile on her face didn't reflect genuine happiness. "The tire went flat," mumbled. Dora's behavior had changed, but what was the reason behind this change? The previous evening, when I came home, Dora had just gotten out of the bath. She mentioned that the bathtub was clogged again. Normally, such a thing wouldn't bother her. But this time, I didn't understand why it was so important. The thoughts that further fueled my suspicions were the damp towel I found in the laundry basket, and Dora's underwear still wet from hand washing. Why was she in such a hurry? Dora and I met in high school, but we were just friends back then. Years later, after college, we reconnected, and everything progressed quickly. Before getting married, we had an active and passionate relationship, and that didn't change much after the wedding. Recently, I started to feel that something was wrong. The first odd behavior I noticed from Dora was during our friends Jim and Diane's divorce. Jim had put Diane through a lot during the divorce, and Dora's reaction wasn't what I expected. "Maybe it was just a mistake," Dora said about Diane's infidelity. Such a small mistake shouldn't lead to such severe consequences. At the time, those words didn't mean much to me. Now, everything made more sense. Dora's behavior became more and more suspicious. For instance, she started spending longer hours at work, coming home later, constantly talking about her job, and most notably, she never left her phone out of sight. It's as if she was running away from something. I often thought while working in the garden. I started thinking about Dora's phone conversations and her travel history on Google Maps. Everything was pointing to one thing: Dora's work colleague, Jacob C. The last place Dora was seen was very close to Jacob's house, which further strengthened my suspicion. I was no longer going to let this go. Finally, I decided to follow up on these suspicions. One Friday, I followed Dora to her workplace. As I watched her, couldn't believe my eyes. Dora was meeting Jacob, a Parakeet Lounge, a motel. I wanted to be sure, but I also wanted to teach Dora a lesson. My plan was now clear in my mind. That evening, when Dora came home, I acted as if everything was normal. I knew her fears, and I decided to use them to corner her even more. I borrowed 2 large yellow anacondas from my friend Alec. Dora was deathly afraid of snakes. I planned to use this fear to teach her the lesson of her life. While Dora was taking a shower, I released the snakes into the bathroom and locked the door from the outside. Dora's screams echoed throughout the house. Matt, what are you doing?" she yelled. But I didn't respond. Dora's helplessness and fear didn't soothe my anger. I left her there, alone with the snakes, while I continued with my tasks around the house. Occasionally, I would check on her, but I didn't offer any help. I even added a few threatening words to fuel her fear. "Be careful, Dora. Snakes are particularly attracted to human fluids, especially urine. Maybe Jacob can save you. What do you think?" In the morning, when I opened the door, I found her exhausted. She was completely broken down. After gathering the snakes, I immediately called an ambulance and told the police that my wife had lost her mind. When they took her to the hospital, the doctors expressed serious concerns about her mental health. Dora was acting like she had gone insane, I told the police. She was talking about snakes, but there was nothing in the bathroom. I planned to use this situation against her in the divorce process. Within a week, Dora had become completely uncontrollable. It wasn't hard for them to believe she had lost her sanity. I had now reached the final stage of my plan. Dora would never recover from this. Is this the end of the story? As I left Dora at the hospital, my life was reshaping. The divorce proceedings moved quickly, and I gave Dora enough time to atone for her mistakes. But by the end of this process, I knew I was on a path of no return. After the divorce, I thought everything would suddenly get better, but it didn't. I couldn't sleep at night. Dora's screams echoed in my ears. What I had done to her had taken hold of my mind. I was fighting a battle within myself. I was torn between the anger I felt towards her and the growing guilt inside me. One night, I tossed and turned in bed. I started thinking about Dora. Did I truly love her? Or was I simply trying to protect what I had? I couldn't find the answers to these questions. This internal turmoil was pulling me deeper and deeper. At some point, I had to accept that I was the one who had brought Dora to this state. Months passed. Dora was discharged from the hospital, but nothing returned to the way it was. Our paths completely diverged. I tried to make a fresh start, but my past wouldn't let me go. No matter how much I tried to change, the darkness inside me remained. The weight of what I had done pressed down on me. One day, I heard from Dora again. When my phone rang, there was a message from her. "I don't forgive you, but I understand you," the message read. Those words struck me deeply. Dora's message taught me a valuable lesson. Perhaps forgiveness sometimes comes when you least expect it. In that moment, something inside me shifted. I don't know if I could forgive Dora, but I knew I had made peace with her. Couldn't change the past, but I could reshape the future.